Hey, what's going on everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Fallout 4 Mods Weekly, the show where we take a look at some of the really cool and interesting mods that have come out for Fallout 4 during the past week. And this is a jam-packed episode. We have 10 brand new mods. It's been a very busy week on the Nexus, and we have a lot to talk about, so I'm not going to waste any time. Let's go ahead and get started with the first mod, and that's going to be the Army Bunker Player Home by Elianora. That's right, Elianora, the master of making it player homes in Skyrim and Fallout, has made a brand new one, and this one is really cool. This is going to add a brand new secret military bunker inside of the Wicked shipping fleet. If you head over to that location and look around, it's a bit hidden, but if you make your way to the back of the building, inside of one of the storage crates, you will find a secret door. Head inside that door and you will be transported to the brand new bunker. You will have to find a little hidden terminal to unlock the door, but once you do, you will have access to a brand new player home with all kinds of cool, neat features. As usual for an Elianora house, this is a very small space, but it is absolutely jam-packed with goodies, including different storage units, all of your necessities like crafting tables, a place to sleep, a place to cook, a place to store pretty much every single item you could imagine. But also there's a couple different things added with this mod, including a custom set of T60 power armor that has its own unique camouflage, which is a nice woodland pattern with some mixes of orange accents, which I absolutely adore. And there's even a hidden little hazmat suit that has the same sort of camo pattern. So not only will you get a brand new player home, but you'll get some pretty cool armor with it as well. On top of that, this is actually a fully functional settlement, and I mean fully. You can build pretty much every type of structure in here, though I'm not sure why you would. This place is already pretty jam-packed as it is, but if you wanted to add your own little spin or twist on it, you can absolutely do so. And given that it is a fully functional settlement, you can even send settlers here, which is pretty interesting. So if you want to take your favorite companion, have them live with you in this bunker, I guess you could do just that. Great work as always by Elianora. This is a truly wonderful little player home, and we don't see too many player home mods anymore. So this is a nice little mod to spice up your load order if you're looking for a new player home for your character. Up next, we have a brand new animation mod known as First Person Running with Hands by Neeher. Now, in the vanilla game, you don't actually have any running animation if you have no weapon equipped. If you start sprinting in Fallout 4 with a weapon equipped or in third person, it actually changes the animation. But when you have no weapon equipped, your character doesn't do anything different, you just run faster. Which, if you think about it, is a bit weird, because that means your character either has their hands at their sides, or they have it thrown behind them running Naruto style. So instead, Neeher has made a new animation to make it so that your hands actually pop up on the screen and make it look like you're actually sprinting, which is just a nice little touch of immersion. And if that wasn't good enough, believe it or not, this mod is actually customizable. Right now you're looking at the open hand, which is the standard version of the animation, but there's also two other downloadable versions known as the closed hand, which is just going to have your character running around with closed fists, which I think is how I run. I've never really thought about it too hard, but yeah. There's also a third option known as the knifed hands, which is having your hands in a perfectly straight position, and it looks a little bit goofy, but I could definitely see some people picking this one just because of the absurdity. Really cool to be able to choose exactly how your character looks as they sprint. Nice little touch of immersion and a nice little touch of customization as well. It's definitely something that's completely unnecessary, but I'm sure that once people download this, it'll stay in their load order forever. They'll just plug it in, turn it on, and forget about it, and this will just become a new permanent spot in their game. Up next, we're covering another mod that's going to fix a part of the vanilla game. If you're familiar with the Sanctuary Bridge, you know that that thing is absolutely atrocious, and there have been so many mods attempting to fix this issue with different styles of bridges, but I think I've found my favorite, and that is the Sanctuary Drawbridge by GreekRage. This is going to add a drawbridge to Sanctuary. Now, this doesn't seem like a huge deal, and there's tons of other bridge mods out there, but this one is special because the drawbridge is fully functional. You can raise and lower it at a whim, which just adds a nice bit of immersion, and it's definitely something that you would love to have at your settlement to keep out potential intruders. So that's super cool. In order to raise or lower this thing, there is a lever on either side of the bridge. You simply head over and pull it, and then the bridge will start to activate. And this even comes with animated roadblocks, as well as a nice little spinning light to tell you to keep away from it, which is pretty cool. This is definitely a very minor mod, but if you're looking to fix your Sanctuary Bridge, I think this is definitely one of the best options out there right now, and it's just super cool. So if you want to check it out, it'll be linked down in the description below, along with every other mod in this video. Now up next, we have a mod that's just a bit crazy, and that is known as Fleshsmith, an Automatron add-on by RascalArt. Now, this is going to add a twist to the Automatron DLC, allowing you to add some more unethical parts to your robots. Not only can you throw machines, but also now flesh. Whenever you kill enemies in the game, they will now drop body parts, and this includes humans, ghouls, super mutants, mole rats, and mirelurks for now, but I wouldn't be surprised to see if we get updates that adds even more creatures in the future. Once you collect these body parts, you can throw them onto any automatron that you create, making for some pretty crazy abominations. But if that wasn't enough, there is a newly added workbench that will allow you to modify some of these body parts, specifically the ghouls and humans. If you take a human body part and load it up with buff out, you can make it very, well, buff and strong. And if you take some ghoul parts and load it up with mentats, you're going to make a psionic ghoul part that you could then throw onto your automatrons, making for some absolutely crazy and wacky creations. It's really weird, but if you wanted to play a wacky scientist, I could definitely see this fitting for some characters out there. So definitely make use of this mod if it's up your alley, but I doubt it's for everybody. Up next, we have a brand new quest and location known as the Fort Banks quest mod by Nick Zukowski, and this is actually going to add a quest for the shoulder-mounted machine gun that I made not too long ago. This is going to add a new location for you to explore, and when you do, it's going to give some backstory as to how the SMMG was created, and it's also going to allow you to find 2 unique legendary variants of the weapon. When you start up the game after this mod is installed, it will prompt you with a quest that will lead you to a new location far north on the map, so north that it's actually off the map, and that's going to take you to a brand new bunker that some gunners have been hiding out in. You will quickly find that it has since been overrun with feral ghouls, and once inside, you're going to need to clear them out and figure out what has happened. Eventually, you'll make your way over to a gunner engineer who has been working on these prototypes for the SMMG, and you may even find a duffel bag with the first unique, an explosive flak variant that of course has explosive rounds. I'm sure you can imagine already, this thing is completely overpowered. As if this weapon wasn't strong enough, having an explosive variant is absolutely insane. It's something that could have been done in the original mod if you got lucky enough with the legendary drops, but now there is a static spawn where you can just go and find one of these. Along with the first legendary variant, you'll also find a note that will lead you to the second legendary variant. Follow the clues on the note and you will find a version of the weapon that gives you a 75% movement speed buff while aiming down sights, allowing you to move faster. This one definitely doesn't have the same kind of power as the other one, but it is nice to have 2 unique versions of the SMMG since I didn't include any in the original mod. I figured the weapon was unique enough, but for those of you who want just a little bit more, this might be the mod for you. Up next, we have the Laser Rifle Reanimation by MrLameGaming. This is just going to add a brand new set of animations for the laser rifle and laser pistols in the game. And I gotta say, they look really, really nice. They look almost vanilla, but in the best way possible. It's very similar to the original style, but it just has a little bit more flair and a little bit more realism and makes use of more of the moving parts on the weapon, which is really cool. It makes the laser rifle definitely feel a lot more unique compared to some of the other weapon animations in vanilla Fallout 4. Again, this has since been updated to now include not only laser rifle but laser pistol animations as well, and it doesn't just include the reload but also sprinting, melee, grenade throwing, pretty much everything under the sun when it comes to first-person animations. There haven't been too many laser rifle reanimation mods out there, so I definitely recommend picking this one up if you want to try something new for the vanilla laser weapons. I gotta say, this one is really, really high quality, and it's definitely one that's going to make a permanent place in my load order. Up next, we have a brand new lore-friendly little pistol mod known as the Frommerstop by, well, me. This adds the classic Hungarian World War I era pistol known as the Frommerstop into Fallout 4, complete with leveled-less integration and a ton of attachments over at the weapons workbench. This does use the vanilla deliverer animations, though you can download any animation replacers you choose, though use them with caution as it may misalign some of the sites included in this mod, as that typically happens whenever you download reanimation mods. If you want to get your hands on the Frommerstop after installing this mod, you'll have to find it out in the leveled list. It will start spawning after level 4 on Minutemen, Gunners, Railroad Agents, Settlers, Vendors, and the occasional Raider boss. And again, even though it is very early on after level 4, it's still a pretty rare drop. I didn't want this thing to be absolutely flooding the Commonwealth, so I tried to make it spawn a little less often, as it is a pretty antique and pretty unique pistol to the US. Functionally, this is a pretty standard pistol mod, but over at the weapons workbench, I do take a little bit of pride in including what I think are some pretty unique attachments that you won't find on too many other pistols, including some really cool functional laser sights, and even a huge heavy mounted blade that you can use to bash some major damage on your enemies. The Frommer was a lot of fun to make. It took way longer than I anticipated, but now that it's out, I really hope that you guys do enjoy it. I'm pretty proud of how it came out overall, and the next step for me is definitely working on that attachment pack that so many of you guys have been waiting for. Up next, we have yet another weapon mod, and that's going to be the lore-friendly 556 collection by GreekRage. This is going to add 3 classic Fallout weapons into Fallout 4, all of which are chambered in 556. The first of which is going to be the XR92, a prototype version of an advanced R91 that has some pretty unique furniture, including a green receiver and polymer parts. But you can find an experimental prototype unique version that has the classic furniture, very similar to the old R91 from Fallout 3. The second weapon included in this pack is the light machine gun from Fallout New Vegas with some nice updated iron sights, which it desperately needed, and of course a ton of modifications over at the weapons workbench. This thing is super cool, and I have to say it's probably one of my favorite weapons in this pack. People have been asking for a version of the New Vegas light machine gun for so long, and now we can finally get one in this pack, and it's just absolutely beautiful. The last weapon included in this pack is known as the 556 autoloader, which is based on the 223 autoloader from Fallout Van Buren, the canceled Fallout 3 project. This is going to be a nice heavy semi-automatic pistol, again firing 556, so it is absolutely massive, and also contains a handful of really cool attachments over at the weapons workbench, including some functional laser sights that look really neat. But it doesn't stop there. There is just so much content included in this mod. Not only do you get these 3 weapons, but you get a unique version of each of these weapons. Actually, 2 uniques for the XR92. And you can hunt all of these down all over the Commonwealth. If you want specific locations and details, I actually have a full breakdown of this mod on my channel that has all of the information, because this is a huge mod and it took me 15 minutes just to get through it all. When it comes to finding these things out in the world, their leveled lists are very different from each other, so each of these weapons has a very specific leveled list. So for example, the light machine gun can be found pretty much anywhere, but not until later in the game, whereas the autoloader can only be found anywhere a 44 could be found, or potentially even the Brotherhood of Steel. So it's very specific to each weapon. Again, more information in my full breakdown. But finally, one other thing is, if you only like one of these weapon mods, or maybe you don't want one of the 3, each of these weapons can be downloaded individually rather than in the main pack. GreekRage has gone ahead and made these available as an all-in-one pack or as separate individual downloads, so you can pick exactly which ones you want, which is great for user customization. Truly a wonderful weapon pack, and definitely one of my favorite mods that has come out this year. Next, we have yet another weapon mod, and that's going to be the Remington New Army Revolver and Carabine by Zgabuterimon. I'm still not good at pronouncing that. This adds a very lore-friendly revolver into the game with some beautiful custom animations, and you can convert it into a revolver rifle, which is also really cool, and something that we don't see a lot of in the Fallout 4 modding scene. Despite the surprising fact that we do have vanilla revolver rifle animations in the game, these ones are completely custom for the New Army Revolver, as it has a pretty unique reload in real life, which is the ability to reload an entire cylinder at once, by which I mean you actually remove one cylinder from the revolver and put in a new one that's already loaded with bullets, which is definitely going to save you on reload time instead of individually loading every single bullet, so that's pretty neat. This weapon has a decent amount of customization over at the weapons workbench, including different barrels and grips and stocks, and even a couple of sights. If you want to grab this thing, you will be able to find it all over the Commonwealth after level 30. It is added to the leveled list, but not until later in the game, because this thing actually has some pretty high stats. So if you're looking for a new powerful revolver for your gunslinger character, I definitely recommend picking this one up. Truly a really cool mod. And finally, that brings us to the last mod of the video, and that is the Stealth Pack, a unique weapons concept by Pig. This is going to add 3 brand new weapons to the game, all based around stealth. They're going to get a scrap pistol, a scrap SMG, and a makeshift air rifle. The scrap pistol and scrap SMG are pretty much self-explanatory. They are scrappy little weapons that are meant for the early game, but do have a multitude of suppressors that you can throw on, and they are perfect for stealthy gameplay. They don't do a ton of damage, but they do a great job from the shadows. So if you're looking for some silenced weapons for the early game, those two are great options. Additionally though, we have the makeshift air rifle, which is going to be naturally suppressed since it is an air rifle. It doesn't make a ton of noise, and it actually uses the new custom ammo type known as ball bearings. You'll be able to shoot ball bearings at your enemies using compressed air, which is definitely one of the most Fallout things I've ever heard of, even though this idea was kind of stolen from Metro, but hey, whatever. The pistol and SMG in this mod are pretty standard, but the air rifle is definitely one of the really cool and unique additions from this mod, and makes some really clever uses of the laser rifle animations in the vanilla game. Though keep in mind, if you throw it on with the new laser rifle animations included in this mod's weekly, it may not line up exactly, and there are going to be some switches being flicked that are non-existent on the air rifle, so just keep that in mind if you end up trying out both. But yeah, if you're looking for some new stealthy weapons for the early game, this is definitely the mod for you, and that's going to wrap up this week's Mods Weekly. Definitely a longer one with a lot of mods to check out, so hopefully you found at least one that you want to throw into your load order. With that though, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to drop a rating if you enjoyed, and consider subscribing if you haven't already for more videos just like this. Big shout out to all of my patrons for supporting every single video, and a special thank you to Astro, Captain Chaos, Helljumper 2077, Indecisive Wolf, Jackie Noid, Moonlit Gamer, Feed, and Youth RC for signing up for that tier 3 Patreon membership. If you want to check out my Patreon, it will be linked down in the description below, but it is completely optional. Thanks again for watching, guys, and I hope to see you in the next one. Peace!